Okay, this is what everybody wants to know. It's the most frequent question I get. How do you find and keep great help? The first tip I have for you, which made the biggest impact of the quality of people I was finding, was changing the wording on my Craigslist ad from, looking for a housekeeper to looking for a caretaker. That one simple change in my job listing gave me 3 times the applicants and much better quality of people. Nobody really aspires to be a housekeeper, but there's something a little romantic about being a caretaker of a property. There's also a certain sense of pride that people get in taking care of your home and being an innkeeper of sorts. I also think it's a much more accurate description for the job. The ability to clean is like the 3rd or 4th thing I'm looking for when I'm hiring. Dependability is the number 1 thing for me. Some months I could have 30 one-night stays. That means I sometimes need them to do a turnover every single day, and they can't miss. Since I don't live even remotely close to my listings, I need someone who is going to get the job done no matter what. I typically advertise on Craigslist, but my fire lookout is in such a tiny town in the middle of nowhere, they don't even have cell service. And the closest Craigslist cities are still 2 hours away. I put an ad up there, but I just wasn't getting anything. No one from my town was going on Craigslist looking for work. I tried calling the local library to put something up. I also tried calling the one church in town to see if they knew anybody that needed a job, but I couldn't get a hold of anyone at either place. Then I got the bright idea to do a mass mailer. So I made a postcard with basically the same ad, adding a picture of the property, and I sent it to all 400 residents that lived in that area, and it worked. I found a great person. A lot of times I try to hire couples so that there's always a built-in backup. It doesn't have to be couples. It could be somebody with adult children, which it just seems to have worked really well for me. One of my caretakers is married, but her husband has never cleaned, but her 21-year-old daughter steps in from time to time for her. Be sure to ask them who would fill in for them if you couldn't make it for some reason. My caretakers also need to be able to receive packages of inventory from me, and there's always a couple items that have to be picked up locally, like fresh flowers. People are often surprised when they find out that I have male caretakers. They wrongly assume that this is a woman's job only. Don't let that stereotype get in your way of finding great people. I myself am a super duper messy woman, and 2 of my 4 brothers are clean freaks and crazy organized. So it's not just a male or female thing. Right now I have 2 males and 2 females, and they're all fantastic. Once I have a few potential candidates, I ask them again if they meet all the requirements in the ad. If so, I schedule a call with them, and based off of that, I have the person that I want come take a look and just meet them in person. If I have a good feeling, I invite them to do the next turnover with me, and I will take home the laundry and do it since I don't have that on site. For the next turnover, I will send the laundry home with them, and they're set to handle it on their own from there. I email them a little onboarding document with all of the apps they need to download and the information that we covered in our in-person meeting, as well as a contract to sign. When I first launch my listing, I will do the turnovers for the first week or about 5 times. As I'm doing it, I will use my phone to write down every single thing I do on the reminders app. You also want to include items that you want them to check, that there are certain things that are in working order, like hot water, Wi-Fi, or remotes. I will then take that list and make a checklist with pictures on the back side of how everything is supposed to look. That means I include a picture of the nightstand, its books stacked just so, and the flowers, or the bed with the pillow arrangement and the throw draped on the corner. I keep a printed version at the house as a backup, as well as an inventory checklist of all the consumables that need to be restocked, like your soaps, paper towels, those sort of things. But mainly I use this awesome app called Turnover B&B. The caretakers will download the app on their phone, and it will tell them their schedule. That way they'll just click through the checklist and hit complete, and they'll be paid immediately, which is really great for them. The company takes a small transaction fee off of every charge, but I think it's totally worth it because now I'm not having to send out checks every 2 weeks, and they're not having to keep track of all the days they cleaned and me having to check that. And who canceled or what other things. It's also really nice for your caretaker that they can get paid immediately instead of having to wait the 1 or 2 weeks that you schedule. So I find it great, and you can even customize little things. So if there was an odd job that you needed to add to their checklist, you could say, okay, we need to wash the windows today, or here are some spring cleaning things. So you can add that as well. I just love that app.